Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today I got 5 builds you guys can try in your pubs that are pretty freaking powerful right now. And now I want to tell you guys a little bit about DotaPlus from Overwolf. This is a free stats app you guys can download right now that's going to show you your stats for the last 3 months. So if you want to know your games played, your MMR, your win rate, your XPM, your GPM, all of these things you need to track to know how well you're doing and what you need to change to gain MMR, you can get for absolutely free. On top of that, the biggest reason why you need to download DotaPlus, at least for me, is the ban suggestions. Basically, it tells you what the enemy team is good at. It tells you their best heroes, what they've been winning with. You just ban it. You might be wondering why your good heroes, why your best heroes keep getting banned. It's because of DotaPlus. The enemy team is using it and banning out your best heroes. So go download DotaPlus right now, and I'll see you guys there. So let's start it off with a build that is honestly shockingly good, and that is Zeus mid. However, I want to go over a build that I've been theory crafting a little bit that I think is also pretty good, and that is Zeus mid with a little bit of a tank variety. Now, here's what I like about Zeus right now. At level 15, he has honestly 2 things he just didn't have in the past. Number 1 is a 350 health talent, which generally is going to put Zeus up to about 1500 HP. It's pretty good, right? Then, on top of that, you have Heavenly Jump now, which is a 2.6 second slow, right? Pretty insane, a 2.6 second slow for 100% movement speed. So your hero has one of the best defensive abilities in Dota, a 350 health talent at level 15. It naturally wants to buy raindrops as a defensive item. It should buy wand in the majority of games, even after Kaya. And so basically, right off the bat, you have the ability to be very tanky. Then, for your first item, in a lot of games, especially against hard disables, for instance, I was just playing against a Void Spirit. I went for a Kaya and Sange. This is something that I saw Tundra9 do in one of his recent games, and that was very powerful as well. He could not kill me. It was actually incredibly easy to get away from him, especially with the Heavenly Jump. In fact, he ended up dying trying to kill me early on into the game, quite a few times, actually twice. Now, here's where, this is relatively standard up until now, but what I like as a potential addition to this build is if you are against specific magic damage dive heroes like Storm, heroes like Void Spirit, maybe as a carry of something like an Alchemist who has a Radiance. Obviously, he's still doing mostly physical damage, but maybe you have a Luna with Eclipse. Or there's just like an offlaner who's going to be diving you with magical damage. Maybe it's something like a Dawnbreaker, right, with a Blink Dagger. What you can keep in mind is going Eternal Shroud. Now, what's so cool about this item on Zeus is it's technically a mana item in teamfights if you take damage. You already have a very high HP pool, and so your hero doesn't necessarily have to kite in the fights. Like, a lot of people will look at Zeus and they're like, why would you buy Eternal Shroud? You have to stay outside the fight. But as we already talked about, you have a health talent, you're buying a wand, you're buying raindrops, you're buying a Kaya Sange, and you have a defensive ability, so you can double down on this. Now, the only weakness you have here is physical damage. However, your Heavenly Jump is an attack speed slow, which is something to consider as well. And you could go, you actually could go something that's really, this is some really advanced tech, but you could disassemble your Kaya Sange into Halberd and E-Blade. So all of a sudden you have an Eternal Shroud, a Halberd, and an E-Blade. It's something I'm going to try out. Basically, it just enables you to be very, very tanky. If you don't get like a Keen Optic from your first item and you don't want to go like Aether Lens, then instead what you can do is what I'm talking about, right? You can go for this like very, very tank-based build. And the thing is, as long as you have your shard, you're going to do plenty of damage. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, but Speed, you need Ags. You don't need Ags. Okay, I heard people say this. You don't need Ags on Zeus. I don't know who told you guys this. All you need is shard. As long as you have your shard, you'll do damage. That's it. And the last thing I'd like to note is because you get Spell Life Steal from your Eternal Shroud, this Spell Life Steal also gets amped by the Kaya, which in turn, if you ulti in a team fight, which you can ulti a little bit later if you go this build in a team fight, which sometimes you don't want to do. I will admit, sometimes you don't want to do that because your ulti and your shard work really well together at the beginning of the fight because it does damage based on their current health. So if they're max HP, it does 9% of everyone's current health, which is really good. It's a good reason to ulti at the beginning of every fight of Zeus. It also cancels Blink Daggers and gives vision. So usually you don't want to really wait on Zeus ult. But either way, these items work really well together, and I think there's potential here. All right, getting into the second one, this is probably one of my favorite mid builds right now. Then we'll move on to some other roles, but I want to quickly go over Octarine Puck. If you haven't played Octarine Puck, this hero in the mid to late game is nuts on its Octarine timing. The general build that you're going to be going is Brown Boots, Wand, sometimes into Treads, but generally into Witchblade. After Witchblade, you're going to be going for Blink. After Blink, into Kaiasange. After Kaiasange, Aether Lens. After Aether Lens, into the Octarine core. And really what's so powerful about this build on Puck is the fact that you have a lot of CDR talents in your talents. At level 10, you have 2 seconds off of Illusory Orb. At 15, you have 10 seconds off of Dream Coil if you want to go that route. And then on top of that, at level 20, you have your best talent, 6 seconds off of Waning Rift, which is your silence. With Octarine, this increases your cast range, which allows you to blink onto the backlines very conveniently. So when you're against something like Bane or CM or Shaman or Lion, a counter to you, you can easily get on top of them before they even see you due to the extra cast range on not only your blink, but also your Waning Rift. So you can get to the backline, and your silence is nearly permanent silence. I'm not just saying that, it is almost 100% uptime on the silence with this Octarine core. And so in the team fights, you might be like, oh, but I'm squishy, right? I need a Linken's and a BKB, or something of this the sort. But you have a Kaiasange and an Octarine, right? Like, Octarine gives a pretty significant amount of HP. Kaiasange is obviously one of the best defensive items in Dota. So even if you get caught, a lot of the time you end up living with this build. So really, it's just so freaking good. It lowers the cooldown of Blink, it lowers the cooldown of Witchblade, it lowers the cooldown of every single one of your active abilities. It feels incredible. It is so much fun. It does require some mechanical skill, but if you haven't played Puck, I recommend you go into a bot lobby or a demo lobby, run through the spells. It's not that hard to get down. It's a little bit of practice, but it's not that hard to get down. And this hero is a blast in the late game. It is so freaking fun to play. You can also eventually get to a Dagon. You can even disassemble into E-Blade if you really want to go that route. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but the Dagon on the late game is pretty insane, and your 25 talents are really good as well. All right, getting to the third build. This build right here. All right, I have stomped pubs with Witch Doctor as of late. This hero has been buffed so much as of late. I honestly think Witch Doctor is being undervalued right now. I'm gonna say I think this hero is way better than he gets credit for a couple reasons. So number one, Maledict was buffed from 7 damage to 12 at level 1, and that's tick damage. So it was like nearly double. Keep that in mind. Nearly doubled. Okay, not bad. On top of that, his ulti is now a 60-second cooldown flat. It was 80. It got 20 seconds removed. A 25% buff to his ult, okay? His shard is incredibly good. Like, Witch Doctor is one of the best shards in the game. That's at 15 minutes now. The Voodoo Switcheroo, I rush it almost every single game. And I'll tell you my build that I go, I think it's really good. I'm like having so much impact in these team fights because I'm tanky as hell. So what I do in the laning stage, it starts with the skill build. The key thing is the skill build here. So it starts in the laning stage. I almost always take heal at level 1. The only time I'll take Maledict is if my safe laner is like Troll Warlord or Jug, some hero with a lot of level 1 pressure. I will consider taking Maledict and going for a kill. For instance, I was laning with Tomato, and we actually killed this offlane Necrophos like a gajillion times. We killed him at level 1 with Maledict and Spin. He died from full HP because of how good Maledict is right now and just the fact that it's a high damage spell with Spin. So that's an option. But here's the thing about Witch Doctor. Your W is a 16 heal per second, or heal at level 1. It's not per second. It's actually, I think it's way more than that. It's just a 16 heal. I don't know how to describe it. I'm not into the numbers really, guys. All I can tell you is that when you click this ability, you like full heal. Now here's the thing as well. Here's what gets crazy about Witch Doctor W. It works on the creep wave. So you might be like, oh, that's kind of bad. It's not. What's really cool is you just stand in the creep wave with your heal and you and your carry hit the opponent. Don't turn it on right away, obviously. You're not just trying to heal your creep wave, but you trade a little bit, your carry trades a little bit. You heal, it heals both of you, which is insanely good. It heals the creep wave, and then it shoves in, right? So like basically what happens is your wave just gets healed so much, you just giga push it in, and then the second creep wave is like 6 or 7 creeps. The enemy can't fight you at all. They can't fight you at all. And Witch Doctor has very good base stats, so he trades, well, okay, they're okay. He has solid base stats, and you just trade like crazy. You hit Maledict, you hit your level 2 spike way before the enemy does, so you get to have heal and Maledict at level 2. And you might be like, oh, but you have no stun. You don't need it. You just click them off cooldown. All you need to do is stand next to your carry. You don't need to go into the trees or whatever. Just stand next to them, trade, heal, trade, heal, trade. So your starting items should be at least 1 mango and 1 clarity. I like buying stick as well if I can get away with it. It feels incredible. And man, it's insane. Like after that, the items I go, generally I'm gonna go for windlace boots. I like to have as much movement speed as possible. I always buy windlace boots on this hero as early as I can. I like buying raindrops as well. Sometimes I'll buy that if I'm owning the lane. I'll buy an early raindrops just to double down on the laning stage. And then of course I'm gonna buy, you know, raindrops into windlace boots or into boots windlace. After that, I'm always gonna buy wand. Generally after that, I'm going to go tranquils into another windlace just to maximize my movement speed. And I'm gonna buy a ton of smokes. And I buy so many smokes. And honestly, my strategy with this Witch Doctor is I just stay in the lane as long as I can. I just maledict off cooldown. Literally, I don't really, I pull occasionally when the wave gets fully shoved up. Like often if I'm playing on Dire, I'll actually leave the large camp unblocked and I'll pull that. And because I'm going to be shoving in the wave, it's easy to pull the large camp. This is some advanced stuff that, you know, maybe I shouldn't be covering in a builds video, but hopefully I'm giving you guys some inspiration because it really, I mean, I'm dominating these games and the ulti and what I do is I just sit in the lane and play it for so much that I sap all the XP and you might be like, oh, that's a grief. It's not because I'm getting kills for my carry usually because this hero is a nuts laner. I'm getting kills for my carry. Yeah, I'm sapping XP, but I'm giving them complete free farm. And then all of a sudden, I'm level 5 at minute like 7. Like consistently, I'm hitting this timing. And I'm hitting level 6. I hit level 6 at like minute 8 the last game I played it. I walked mid at like minute 8, 9. I forget, I think it was like 8:30-ish. And just ultied the carry, the mid, I'm pretty sure. I like, it's crazy. This first game I played, I was like 7-1. Or I ended the game with 12 kills. I was 7-1 like 15 minutes in. It's just, I don't know. I think this hero is underrated right now. I honestly think pro players should even look into it. I think it's pretty good against the uni heroes in lane. It like can dominate Lycan at level 1. It's quite good against Lycan at level 1. It does get run down, but here's the thing. Then I like to buy 2 fluffy hats in the mid game. So your hero gets really, really tanky. And then on top of that, I buy the shard right away. And if you don't know what it is, basically you hop into the ground and it shoots out a weakened version of your ulti. But you can just buy so much time. All you do in the team fights is you're the initiator. You run in, you maledict someone, you click your shard if they go on you, or you ulti if they don't, and you do a ton of damage. You basically solo kill the majority of heroes. And if they go on you, you're really tanky because you have wand, raindrop, 2 fluffy hats, and your shard. All right, getting into the 4th build, we have actually, it's a bit of a combo build. I just want to talk about this concept. I think it's really powerful. And that is playing around Visage, Luna, Beastmaster. Now, if you guys know, uni heroes are basically the meta right now, largely because Vlad's is really good, Drums is really good. These heroes have been buffed a bit. So also team fighting has been nerfed quite a bit. So split pushing is just kind of in the meta, and these uni heroes are just in the meta. And so yeah. Here's the thing about Visage Birds. They get affected by Lunar Blessing. Visage Birds have some of the lowest base attack time in the game, so when you buff them with attack speed, they get giga buffed by it, which is why Visage always buys drums now, right? So when you're playing Visage and you Grave Chill with drums, and you have a Luna next to you, and a Beastmaster with maxed out E next to you, your birds are unbelievable. They are unbelievable. They are also unbelievably good at taking towers as well. Like these, there's nothing else for me to say besides these birds are something else. Like I can't explain how hard they hit. Like you just have to see it for yourself. This combo, I think it's so powerful. This death ball, and it's not even unreasonable to have these heroes. Like it's not like, oh, you're gonna have some bad lane. You might be like, oh, how can you have all 3 of these heroes? Dude, the Visage can literally be a support and it's still good. Like your Visage could literally be your 4 or your 1. It could be your mid too, that's fine. Like the hero's a fine mid, but it could literally be a support. It doesn't matter because these Visage birds, they're just like flat damage, right? Obviously you want to get to level 12 so that the birds go from 25 to 50 damage. But the thing is, Lunar Blessing is 35 damage. Even if you're not level 12, these birds are hitting for more than you would be at level 12, like 10 minutes into the game. So it's just, I'm such a fan of this combo. I even think you could pick something like Luna offlane, just so you can stick next to the Visage. I know it's a bit psycho, but I believe there's so much potential in this combo. I think it's dirty. I think it get real dirty, real quick. All right, and finally at number 5 is Clock Mid. This one's cool. You guys probably saw Tundra 9 pick it. Basically, your Q does double damage to creeps now, so you can shove waves. You're one of the best gankers in the game because Hookshot is a 60-second cooldown. It's really funny. You can even, if your lane is like pretty passive, you can put no points in cogs. I generally recommend you take the cogs because you can use them to push people away, burn their mana, and zone them off of range creeps or just CS in general. So I wouldn't do this, but you could take 2 points in Rocket Flare and just nuke people in the side lanes off cooldown. It's pretty funny. But yeah, the general build you're gonna go is you just want to get really active. You want to go for bottle into stick, raindrops, boots, phase boots into urn, into wand. After that, you want to go basically into like vessel or blade mail or something of the sort. And yeah, your hero scales pretty well as well with his ags, but you just want to gank a lot. Don't sit mid too much. Basically, you want to get to a pretty good vessel timing. This is what's going to allow you to solo kill people. And yeah, you just want to get active. Like, just get active. Shove creep waves. Shove the mid wave with your Q, and then gank. This should be your rotation once it's like minute 7. You should be like shoving mid wave, looking for a gank off cooldown with your ulti. And yeah, the hero can do a lot. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace. And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.